Hello and welcome, I'm Bio, and once again I am talking about another Mere Mortals racing game. Continuing on with what I said I was going to do, I'm moving on to the next game, D-Unit Drift Racing. Now, I wanted to do this game solely because it's different than the usual racing game, because it incorporates drifting into it. And I wanted to see exactly how well does Mere Mortals do drifting. So I have played this game once before, quite a long time ago, and I didn't really think much of it, to be honest with you. But now revisiting the game, I've got a newfounded appreciation of the game. And you may be thinking to yourself, what do you mean by it? What do you mean you've got this new appreciation for the game? Well, let's go into it, shall we? Let's go into it. So, I'll give you all the usual information. So, I've already stated that this game is developed by Mere Mortals. It's another Phoenix Games published racing game, and it was released on October 13th, 2006, exclusively for the PlayStation 2, as far as I'm aware. Again, I say as far as I'm aware, solely because Doomsday Racers is on the PS2 and PC, and what I find with a lot of these games is that there is a PC version, but no one ever talks about the PC version, or there's next to no information about the PC version online, so good luck trying to find out if there even was a PC version, kind of jazz. So I don't really bother. But surprisingly, there is a description on Game FAQs of how the game is described. So why not I read that out? Let's read that out and see what it said. So high-speed drifting at its best. This game gives you a great rush of adrenaline. You can almost smell the burnt rubber and feel the G-forces pushing you into your seat. By working your way up through the different leagues of street racing, you will earn respect, money, and the right to join the world of fast and furious drifting. Buy new cars, upgrade them into your own drift monster. This game is all about car control, just like real-life drifting. Here you get to compete with the best drifters of the world, right from the edge of your seat. Can you be the fastest while going sideways round the corners? Find out in D-Unit Drift Racer. Well, that paragraph was a complete and utter lie. There is parts of this I'm assuming this is what it says on the back of the box. And that's what this is. Number one, also, with this description, they spelt the word right incorrectly. So, which is fantastic. I wonder if it's actually like that on the back of the box as well. If it was, fantastic. Fantastic. I'm actually going to have a look. Because the back of the box... Yeah, it is the back of the box. Let's have a look. So, respect money. No, whoever put it on Game FAQs just spelled it incorrectly. That's all it is. They put a W in front of it for whatever reason. So, yeah. But that's all it says, about the game itself. But the thing is with the game is it's in the title of the game. This is the problem. It's in the title of the game, and that's racing. Racing has nothing to do with this game. There is no racing whatsoever in this game, from what I can tell. The entire game is based off of a point system, because the drifting aspect of the game is what makes up the entirety of the game. So in D-Unit Drift Racing, you start out with a car, just a single car, which from what I can see in terms of what the car looks like, it kind of looks like... Again, I normally get the cars wrong when I talk about them. It looks like a Honda Civic. That's what it looks like. So you start out with a Honda Civic. It's not upgraded. It is just base value. And the only league that you have open to you to be able to do... There's 3 leagues in the game. The street race league, the amateur league, and the professional league. And the only league that's open to you is the street race league. And basically from the Street Race League has 3 races. Again, I use quotation marks around the word races, where the whole entire point of the game is to get the most points from your drifting, right? So even if in the terms of actual race itself you're last, you may be first because you got the most points in drifting. So there is no racing, so to say. It is literally who can get the most points through drift actions. That's what you do. There's no actual racing of cars. Who comes first in the race gets a bonus added to that score or anything. Nope, nothing like that. The only thing that applies, kind of like that, is laps. The game still has laps, and when you go basically do a lap of the course or the track or whatever you want to call it, it gives you some extra points towards your total drift score. And that's it. And that's it. There's no other kind of racing attribute to the game. So racing is not really even an aspect of the game. You're not, you could say, oh, but there's a race to get the most points, I guess. But technically speaking, if you really, really wanted to and you were just really good at the game, you could just stay, if you knew a good corner that would get you a lot of points and had a straight on both ends, you could just keep going up and down that straight again and again, just getting more points and more points. No one's stopping you. You don't need to do laps. And you could still get the most points overall. Nothing's stopping. And even then, there's no real point of even coming first in the point scale. Because I played through the entirety of the Street Race League with a completely blank slate of a car. And I think I came did I come last? Or I might have actually, I think I actually managed to come first in pretty much all of them. But you get money. And I imagine no matter what placing you get, you'll get money. And every single race got me $250 or thereabouts. So, realistically speaking, I imagine you probably get that anyway, even if you probably lose. I don't know for certain. I didn't care to check. But you probably still get money anyway, so as long as you're willing to just grind money, you can unlock everything, because everything costs money in the game. You want to unlock new cars? It costs money. You want to unlock new leagues? It costs money. And that money is cars. So you won't be able to do the amateur or professional league because you need a specific car to do it. Well, you don't, actually. You need to unlock that specific car, but actually you can use any car in that particular league. Again, I know it makes sense. It would make more sense if they just said to themselves, let's just have it so that you have to pay money to unlock the leagues, just like the cars, just like with upgrades. Upgrades cost money as well for each of the cars. But yet no, they decided, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to have it so that you have to buy the cars. So the general playstyle, realistically in the game, is to completely ignore upgrading your car and just move on to try and unlock all the cars. But keep in mind, every race, 3 races in the Street Race League. So that's $750 that you're getting. Some of the cars are 10 grand. So you think how many times you're going to have to repeatedly keep doing the Street League over and over again to get enough money to unlock all the cars. And that is not just one car is 10 grand. I'm talking I would say there's, how many cars are there in the game? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got 6 cars in the game. Cars number 2, so the first car is unlocked. Cars number 2 and 3, I think car number 2 was 1 grand. Car number 2 was 5 grand. Car number 3 was 5 grand. And then car numbers 4 and 5 were 10 grand. And to unlock the professional league, you got to unlock car number 6 for 10 grand. You're going to have to keep repeating again and again and again. So the game is massively about repetition. There is a hell of a lot of repetition that you're going to have to do in the game, whether you like it or not. Or you can do what I did, but I'll get into that. So, yeah, you have to do a lot of repetition. Now, don't get me wrong, if you do Amateur League, you will get more money. Amateur League, each of the races give you just under $500. And if you do really well in the Professional League, you can earn $1,000 per race. So, realistically speaking, you should just ignore every car and focus on trying to get the purple car with the green flames. Oh, the green livery or whatever they're called on the side of the car. And aim for that and unlock that and hope that will unlock the Professional League. Sorry, the Professional League. So where it does, I don't know. I unlocked all the cars in order, so couldn't say. Also, each of the cars has to be upgraded individually, so you can't just upgrade fully one car and then that's that. So realistically speaking, more than likely the Honda Civic's going to be your car from the get-go, unless you aim to unlock specific cars and use them. I'm not too sure if there's really any difference between the cars besides the aesthetic, like the way the cars look, the model of the cars. Because I tried a bunch of different cars. I didn't try all of them, but I'd say I tried most of them. I tried 4 out of the 6 vehicles available. And they all control pretty much the same. There's no real difference between the cars. So that's pretty much the kind of like features of the game, you could say. So let's move on to the actual, okay, let's start with the track design. The track design's fine. One thing I will say is Doomsday Racers track design was horrendous, only because of that stupid half-pipe bullshit that they decided to put in the game. This game doesn't have that, because you're in so basically there's I can't remember how many tracks exactly there are. I could look it up, but I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. But might as well, I'll bring it up. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 tracks in the game, right? And each track has like a night and day variation, you could say. So Brooklyn streets and East Side Hills are the same track, but one's at night and one's during the sunset or whatever. And you have Tudor City and Teterboro Airport. Don't even ask me these names, by the way. And they're basically both at an airport. The best track in the game, mind you, because it is the track that makes the most sense for the drifting aspect of the game, at least in my opinion. And then you have Night Downtown and Manhattan, which is like a variation of the, I guess the downtown kind of look of the game. There's slightly different buildings, but it's very similar to the first track I mentioned with this night and day. And then you have the Navy Yard and the Bay Ridge, which again is just like a dock, really, which is the worst track in the game, by the way. Worst track in the game, because it has these like elevation things, which just doesn't work in the game whatsoever. But regardless of that, the tracks aren't that bad. They're nowhere near as bad as they are in Doomsday Racers. So let's move on to the actual gameplay itself. How does the car control? At first, you will be kind of a bit confused with how the car controls, because it's very, very floaty. So if you turn ever so slightly with the analog stick, the car will turn a lot. Whereas if you use the D-pad, the car will turn slightly. But the D-pad's useless because the D-pad isn't good enough for turns. So if you've got to do a 90-degree turn, which obviously you're going to drift around, guess what? The D-pad is not going to be very helpful there. So you're going to rely solely on using the analog stick to drive. But the general driving controls are very, very floaty. The drifting is okay, I guess, but it can be quite inconsistent, in my opinion. Like, you think you're going into a corner relatively well, but you end up over-judging it or something, because maybe there's an aspect of how the car controls that I may not understand. But there's also a time where I do what I consider to be a good drift, and then my points don't reflect that. And then there's times where I've just slightly maybe skidding my back tires going around like a very curved, circular kind of like turn, as you could say. And the score meter is just repeatedly going up and up and up, because that counts as me drifting, even if it is ever so slightly. So the score system is very inconsistent, in my opinion. Very inconsistent. And the drifting is very inconsistent. So it's not a good aspect of your game when the key feature of your game is just inconsistent. Combined with the floaty controls, it doesn't really bode well. But I got used to them. I probably only put in... Let's see, I'll tell you exactly how much time I put into the game. Exactly how much time. Because I recorded all of the footage. So I spent 1 hour and 16 minutes in the game. So that's over double what I spent in Doomsday Racers. But the difference with Doomsday Racers is, yes, I played everything in the game, and I unlocked everything but one vehicle, but I wasn't willing to go try and get first place, because the controls were just that bad. They were just built, it was literally built where the controls did not match the track design at all. Whereas in this game, The controls do match the track design. It's mediocre. It's a budget racing game at the end of the day. The least I can say that it succeeds in what I guess it tries to do. If being a budget kind of half-assed drifting game was what its goal was to start off with. So let's move into like some other aspects. So I've talked about the controls. There's literally like, by the way, there is nothing else. There's the square button brakes and the X button accelerates. Besides the analog stick and the D-pad, nothing. The other buttons on the controller are just nothing. They don't serve a purpose, which is always fun, in my opinion. You know, you can't even press triangle to honk your horn. You can't even press select to reset your vehicle. Start obviously pauses the game, but you know, there's no change up. It's not like I can go from a third-person view to a first-person view in the car either, so you can't change the perspective, which I'm fine with because I don't like the first-person view, but it would be nice to have as a feature. So it's a very bare-bones kind of driving game, drifting game. So let me go on about a few other things in the game. I talked about the garage, didn't I? There isn't really much. In the garage, it quite literally is just engine, tire, suspension, gearbox. Each of them have 5 points, and you just spend money. They cost about $200 to upgrade a point. I don't know if I think it's $200 to upgrade each point. They don't increase in value, so it's still $200 every time, I believe, from what I remember. You have a practice mode. I don't understand why would you do the practice mode when you might as well just go into a street league and actually make some money while you're actually practicing. But you know, whatever. The race mode is exactly what you think it is. It's not a race though, because again, it's just you play on a single track trying to get the best score. And championship I've already explained. Now let's talk about the. I've got a lot more to say about this game, by the way, than I did with Doomsday Racers. Doomsday Racers was just bad overall, realistically. But this game is nuanced bad. The AI in this game is unhinged. The AI are completely and utterly unhinged. They are in another plane of existence. They are completely... So the AI is terrible, by the way, but at the same time, really good. The score that they have at the end of a race, I think, is random. Whatever actions they're performing during the race makes no difference to their score, in my opinion. Because they drive like they're on a track, but yet they're not on a track. Like they're on a Skeletrix track. Like, you know, if they had a little pin underneath the car, like controlling where it's going, and so it's exactly like that. And I'll tell you exactly why. And I'm hoping to make some YouTube shorts on my channel on BioBlame, emphasizing a few aspects of this game and some of the like crazy moments that happened in the game. There was one instance, right, when a car got flipped, an opponent car, AI car, CPU car got flipped on its roof, and yet continued to drift and drive like nothing happened. It literally drifted around a corner on its roof. Bitch, please. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what? It was one of those like, fuck me, what the fuck moments. I couldn't honestly believe it. Another moment is like, the AI will, for some reason, like misjudge a corner sometimes and like spin out, and then they'll just stay there and not move. I actually, in one of the things, I just literally sat there watching it, wondering what it was doing, and it just stayed there for like a good long while before it went, I'm sentient again. I'm gonna continue racing. Keep in mind, when it gained sentience again, right? It started racing normally from the position it was. Keep in mind, right? It was turned facing me away from the corner, and then suddenly, from complete standstill, starts moving sideways, drifting the corner, like its wheels had 360-degree rotation. I literally just... It was like head explosion meme the entire fucking time I was watching the CPU and the AI in this game. It was the best part of the game. The most comical, most amusing part of the game was watching and observing the AI. Most of the time, they just zoom super far ahead of you, so you just don't worry about them and have to focus. But once your car is like fully upgraded, you'll be able to keep up with them. And then you just see how they do things, and it's just wild. It is honestly just the wildest fucking shit I've seen. It's so crazy. For example, if an AI car hits another car, guess what? They don't try to like correct themselves. They just keep going. And they're stuck like that for whoever knows how long. I, again, sat there just watching them, and they just were there. And I even decided to join in. I just drove up and I just joined in. I was like, hey, mate, hey, buddy, look here. We're both doing it. We're both pushing this dude. Hey, we're pressing his buttons. Hey, we're driving here. And then I got bored of that, and I reversed back and just continued racing and left them to it. Left them to their unique dance together. And then there's also the fact that, now you may be saying like, okay, I kind of get the whole other plane of existence, other dimension, kind of, but no, but they're still there, right? What makes you say that they're kind of like on this like pin that's like driving him along? Because you can't move them. If you hit them, they barely move. On the other hand, though, if they hit you, guess what? You're going flying, my boy. You're flying. You're gonna go far. Literally, if they nudge you ever so slightly, it will completely fuck up whatever momentum you've got and more than likely spin you out, because that's how hard they are hitting you. And if they hit you right straight on, let's say you're ahead of them, you've misjudged a corner trying to drift, and they smack into the side of you, guess what? No, they don't. There's no like loss of momentum. You just start gliding along with them until you eventually get dislodged from being stuck to their car, and you spin out and they all whiz off ahead of you. So they don't lose momentum. They don't lose any kinetic energy, no nothing when they hit you. Yet if they hit themselves, they slow down to a fucking snail's pace. That's why I say they're on a different plane of existence. They're in a different dimension. I am not physically there for them. I'm just an obstacle in the game. So yeah, the AI is just wild in this game. So that's pretty much the entire game. Now I'm going to go over what I did in the game, my kind of experience. So basically, I realized obviously that I needed money to continue and play other parts of the game. I was not going to play through the street race mode or the street race league again and again and again for barely any cash. It's a budget shovelware video game. I've got no interest. Oh, pardon me. Just like with Doomsday Racers, I've got no interest in trying to unlock things. Like, I managed to unlock most things in Doomsday Racers, but because I probably needed to come first place in each of the races and the driving controls or the racing controls with that fucking dog shit, just to unlock that single last vehicle, I said no, I'm not doing that. That's not worth my time. On the other hand, though, if I can unlock it with cash, oh my boy, my friend Cheat Engine is such a good lad. So every now and then I tend to fuck about using Cheat Engine once I finish a game, just to piss about. It's one of the things I used to enjoy doing as a kid. If I managed to finish a game, or if a game was way too fucking difficult for me, I would use Action Replay. I'll put my hands up. I'll use Action Replay. Most of the time, it was for games like, let's say with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I'd play through the entire game, finish the entire game, and then use an Action Replay to just fuck about, give myself infinite money so I can do what I like and buy whatever ammo I want, and just fuck about in the game world. So I'm quite familiar with Cheat Engine, with fucking about, trying to do different things, messing around with the code and so on. I'm not massively proficient in it, but I'm reasonable, right? I'm okay. I'm probably better than someone who only knows it by name and maybe tried using it once. I'm better than that. So I decided, I was like, okay, I'll find the cash value and I'll just give myself like $9,900. I gave myself $99,999, which is what I did, to unlock everything in the game so I could experience everything in the game instead of being locked behind a progression grind paywall. You know, fucking shovelware, Phoenix Games racing games literally what had the microtransaction mindset before microtransactions were even a thing. If Phoenix Games was around nowadays, it would be fucking gacha games on mobile. You know it would be. So I have no issue with doing that to some shovelware budget video game that realistically I want to experience more of, simply to see what kind of other content, what other things are available, but not willing to play through the game because it's just a grind of trying to get the most cash. So I said fuck it, and I just did what I did. So I've got everything unlocked in the game, and I'm absolutely fine with that. I will be putting my save file of game FAQs, so you can download it. It will have all the tracks unlocked, all the cars unlocked, all the cars are maxed. So you can play around and do what you like in the game as well. But my overall experience with D-Unit Drift Racing is that as a concept, I don't think, at least from what my memory serves, I didn't play, I guess, that many drifting racing games on the PlayStation 2, and I don't even know if there really is any. So I'll give them credit for trying something different, but unfortunately it's poorly executed. And it's poorly executed because it's just another Mere Mortals racing game. And they pumped these out so much in the course of, a couple of years on the PlayStation 2's lifespan, that even though I'm planning to look at 6 of them, there's more. You would think of 6 games, they probably just did 6 racing games, Mere Mortals, right? No, they did more than that. I just picked the ones that were interesting, that I thought would be interesting. So for me personally, I like the idea, but the execution, the presentation, all of everything else, it's just not worth it. And if you'd said to me, what price point would you be willing to pay for a game like this? I'd struggle to say a $5. This is the kind of game I'd expect to see come out on Steam as a tech demo or a college graduate's fucking thesis of trying to make a racing game or something. That's what I see this as. Honestly, that's what I see this as. A single dude's own first attempt at making a racing game in Unity or something. Not a full-fledged video game on the PlayStation 2, probably sporting a upwards of £10 or more price tag. It's not worth it. So my final 2 cents of the game is that you can have, if you want to have a good laugh, give it a go. Save my save file. It will be on Game FAQs. By the Game FAQs, you might have to wait a little bit because I upload the save file right as I upload this video on YouTube. So it normally takes a couple of days for the save file to get approved by the Game FAQ staff, mods, whatever. But give it a try, just if you want to have a laugh. But if you want to try it for hoping to get a okay or even somewhat decent racing game or decent driving game, drifting game, I would say don't bother. Just don't bother. But that's my 2 cents. I've been Bio. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Once again, I decide to completely forget to talk about the music in the game, as per usual, just like I did with Doomsday Races, mainly because the music is just kind of there, but the music is very bad. I will be uploading the music on my Biotech's channel. You'll see it probably a lot later down the line, but it will be on there. I will try and also put it in the background of this video. Luckily, there's more than just a single track in the game, because Doomsday Racers literally had one single track. I think there's about 4 tracks if you include the main menu theme as well. So there's that, but they're not good. They're really not good. It's like if a bunch of people just threw together a bunch of random sounds. I think one of the tracks literally has seagulls squawking in the background and an alarm sound going off. So yeah, not very good music. Another side note I would like to mention, I couldn't believe I went through the entire video without mentioning this. This game is weird in terms of environment and stuff. It's uncanny valley. It's like if the Backrooms was a racing game, and I'm going to be making a short kind of showing that and kind of emphasizing on that. But yeah, the game is real creepy, weird creepy when you're driving along, because of the environment and the atmosphere, and just the music doesn't help as well. It all comes together to make this uncanny valley kind of experience when playing the game. So yeah, if you wanted, again, if you morbid curiosity just for a good laugh and also a bit like, ooh, that's a bit strange, then yeah, give the game a go.